administrative work related to the institution, like the SNAC accreditation process or whatever it may be. So first of all, we should have passion, and we should be delivering our best in in all our initiatives and efforts. So once we do it, just appreciate yourself. So you have to appreciate yourself as, see, I am the best. So that is the first mantra which every faculty should have within him or her. And also, when you inculcate this habit or practice in you, then next step, which you have to do is, you have to appreciate, you have to understand the kind of hard work, the kind of work done by the other faculty members. You should try to appreciate the work of others. Okay, so in a professional atmosphere, so like, see, the faculty colleagues, they must have a good bond between them. So only if they have a good bond, NAC is all about a teamwork. So when it comes to teamwork, we must have a proper relationship, and to maintain the relationship, these are the basic essentials. So that's why I'm into these terms. So as I said, when you take the term appreciate with regard to, in the context of a faculty member, so appreciate yourself for all sorts of initiatives or efforts taken by you with regard to administrative work or teaching, as I said. As well, try to understand the significance or the kind of work done by your fellow colleagues in the institution, and try to appreciate their work. And by this, you can build up a bond. Once you inculcate this practice, and once you are into this, the next would be, so you will be gaining respect among the faculty members, as well the institution, as well when you are making the move towards the students, you will be gaining respect even from the side of the students. So here, when any person, it is a human nature, when any person, if he or she feel that their work is valued or respected, then they have a sense of satisfaction. And this sense of satisfaction, it will lead to the final term called gratitude. So that is a third term which I wanted to make a note of it. Okay, so a faculty, a student, and also the institution, the sense of gratitude must be there. Only a faculty, if he has the sense of gratitude, he will be doing a lot of things in a positive sense towards the work of, towards achievement or targets which has been put forth by the institution. And only if the student is having the sense of gratitude to the faculty members, then on the other side, the faculty will be well respected, and he will also take motivation from the side of the students, and he can also move towards his goal. And the student, if he is having a sense of gratitude towards the institution, then the student at any time, for any kind of basic details, if you go and stand in front of your student, whether the student is undergoing a course or program in your institution, or whether it is a case of an alumni, whoever it may be, so they will be extend the fullest support only if you are able to maintain a rapport. So this is the basic adult learning principles which I wanted to share with you. So if we inculcate these practices within us as a faculty, as a student, as an institution, if these factors are there, and if we are able to maintain this relationship in a beautiful manner, then NAC accreditation process, whether it is criterion 1 or 2 or till 7, whatever we want to do, we will be able to complete or accomplish our task by building a beautiful bond relationship between each other. So this is the basic part of, see, as a Sastra is a mentor to all your institutions. So I thought it is our responsibility to counsel you that you should have certain practices within your institution. And moreover, my topic, it is on the topic of student support and progression. And when we were into the task of collecting the documents, it was all possible with the support of the students. And there I understood, not only I, we, the faculty members who actually the team which was constituted for this criterion 5, we understood the real-time difficulties when we have to call for documents from the side of the students. So that's why I insist you that Let us have a good relationship, and if this relationship is maintained in an efficient manner, if there is a good bond and rapport, then it is possible to proceed first of all with, okay, it's not about accomplishment of task. First of all, we can proceed towards the process of data collection. So this is my sincere intake, which I had taken it through my experiences by being an integral part of Criterion 5 team. So I thought I would share this experience with you. So this is the basic thing which we need to understand first of all. So as I said, after talking about this thing, it is see, two things now are running in my mind. One is this is post-lunch session, so I want to do a little talking so that I can engage you people, because as I said, I am not a techie and I cannot make wonderful PPT presentations, and again, it's all about technicalities. So I don't want to make it monologue, a monotonous, boring PPT session. So that's why I am into a little talking. Okay. So I hope you have understood why I have said you have to be vigilant, or otherwise you have to practice all these qualities, so that it has got some relevance with the collection of data regarding NAAC accreditation process, and that too more particularly with regard to this student support and progression. So having said this, so let me move on to the technical part of the session. So I am presenting one PPT. Yes, the first slide. Thank you, madam. And here, so before I go for the key indicators, so I would like to highlight the main highlights of the Criterion 5. So it's all about the efforts of an institution in order to provide necessary assistance to the students to enable them to acquire meaningful experiences which they had while learning at the campus. And also it is these efforts are also there to facilitate the holistic development. Holistic in the sense, see, not only we should focus on academics. More than that, we should inculcate certain good practices among the students, so that it is very much helpful when they reach the society and when they start contributing to the society. So this is much more important. So the main objective of or main highlight of Criterion 5 is it is there to facilitate the holistic development and progression of the students. So, ma'am, next slide, can you move? Yes. So, these are the 4 basic key indicators for the Criterion 5. So, I will read it as it is. Number 1, 5.1 student support, 5.2 student progression, 5.3 student participation and activities, and number 4, 5.4 alumni engagement. See, when you look at the indicators, it may appear to you as a very simple, easy task, but I can challenge you that it is more challenging. So when you take this Criterion 5, see, with regard to all other criterions, the management, the institution, the faculty members, they have control over all sorts of documents. But when it comes to Criterion 5, we are to some extent, or to the fullest extent, we are dependent on the students' engagement. So that's why I said it's very difficult to collect data when it comes to Criterion 5. Now, having said the key indicators, I would like to move on to the next slide. So it is so here I have given a tabulation on the distribution of weightages across key indicators. So as you see in the tabulation, so for 5.1 for the universities it is 30. For the autonomous colleges it is 30 again. But in the case of affiliated constituent colleges, with regard to UG, it is 50, and with regard to PG, the weightage given is 50 points. When it comes to 5.2, student progression, so the university is 40, you can see. So I don't think there is a need to read each and every column, but still, student progression, universities 40, autonomous colleges 30, then affiliated constituent colleges, UG 50 and PG 45. Then student part, sorry, I think I have missed the line. So student participation, I have read out. Now coming to the fourth one, alumni engagement. So 10, 10, 10, 10. So it's even with regard to all the columns. So in total, so you have it under when you go Google search, you have all these tabulations in the NAC manual. So when it comes to the total, it's 100 for the universities, it's 100 for the autonomous colleges. When it comes to UG, it is 140, and when it comes to PG, it is 130. So this is the distribution of weightages across key indicators. The next slide. Now I am getting into the guidelines of IQAC and submission of AQAR for the autonomous colleges, then affiliated and constituent colleges. So I think by now, you will be very thorough with all the terms which has been used under the NAC accreditation process, like IQSC, Internal Quality Assurance Cell, then AQAR, that is Annual Quality Assurance Report. So I hope you are familiar with these terms now. So I'm not going to explain what is NAC, what is IQSC, but with regard to AQAR, so the basic information which I would like to give here is, so I think this also you'll be familiar, but still a small recollection. So here, this AQAR, it need to be with regard to the colleges which already has been accredited. When they go for re-accreditation, it is a mandatory rule that every year they have to submit one AQAR. So every year, in the sense here the period is taken to be the academic year. So academic year, as you all know, so we belong to this profession, so we all very well understand that the academic year is June 1 to May 31. So every year AQAR has to be submitted to NAC by all the accredited institutions as per the format prescribed by online. So here the basic information is with effect from January 2019. Now it is mandatory that this form, it need to be submitted online. Previously it was not so. So for your basic information, if any institution, if any of your institution is accredited before 2017, then your institution, you need to again register in the NAC portal. And after registering, you have to mandatorily go for this AQAR submission. So as I said, it is mandatory. Why it is mandatory? Because it is one of the eligible criteria for re-accreditation. See, if you have not submitted AQAR annually, so if, see for example, you have submitted in the year 2016, but you have not submitted for the year 2017, so there is a lapse. So now whether there is any possibility of rectification? Yes. So here the thing is, if you have not submitted AQAR, then you need to file it before filing your IIQA. I hope you are familiar even with this term, Institutional Information for Quality Assessment, or at least before you report RAR to NAC. So all these things are technical. So let me move on to the next slide. Ma'am? Yes. So here, see, I would like to tell you that I have designed the presentation in such a way that first, with regard to all the key indicators, I will tell you what is happening or what we are doing at Sastra with regard to all these criterions, whether it is student support or student progression. So all the key indicators and its sub-criterions, its subsets. So with regard to all these guidelines, so what we are doing, not in detail I'm going to go for, just the basic information I will provide. And once this gets over, then we will come to the tabulation part. Then when it comes to tabulation part, I will tell you what you have to do when you venture into the task of collection of data with regard to your institution. So I have designed this presentation in this manner. I hope you would agree to this pattern. Now let me go for the details one by one. 5.1.1, scholarships and financial support. See, the term itself, it signifies, see, any university, leave Sastra, any university or any institution, it recognizes excellence in academics. So always that is a normal practice everywhere. So this recognition will be granted by the universities or colleges through scholarship schemes and financial incentives. In Sastra, we go for several types of scholarships. So we have Dean's Merit Scholarship, and we even distribute scholarship in the form of refund of annual boarding expenses. Then with regard to financial support, I can tell you, our university, it facilitates the students to avail educational loans from the banks. So every year when the admission process starts, Sastra, with the help of the supportive banks, that is like IOB, then Punjab National Bank, CUB. So Sastra is facilitating the students to avail the educational loans through by this. It is providing some kind of financial support to the students, and more than this, we also have students welfare fund, and with regard to the courses, certain programs. See, for example, since I belong to law, I can tell law as an example. So in our school, there are 3 awards which has been initiated by Sastra management in the name of legendary legal personalities like Shri G. Ramaswamy, Shri Nani Palkiwala. I hope you might have heard all these names. Shri Patanjali Shastri. These are legendary personalities, jurists who, about whom you can Google search and find out. If I start talking on these legendary personalities, then the session will not be enough. So in the name of these legendary jurists, we have instituted, we in the sense Sastra has instituted 3 awards. So likewise, this is the case of law. Likewise, with regard to each school, the Sastra...
1 minute, ma'am. Please, audience, mute your mic. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, with regard to other schools also, the management has initiated several awards, and this falls under the category of subject. Then one more thing, so rank list. So in Sastra, we appreciate the efforts of the students, and we are awarding them subject proficiency awards. So just I'm citing few examples. So these are the kind of scholarships and awards which are provided by Sastra University to the students, and by this the Sastra is supporting the financially supporting the students in order to excel in academics. Not only this, SAP programs, Desh Videsh scheme is there, and lot more. When it comes to tabulation, I will go in detail. Now coming to the second part, 5.1.2. Number of capability enhancement and development schemes such as soft skill development, remedial coaching, language lab, bridge courses, yoga, meditation, personal counseling, and mentoring, etc. See again, so with regard to each and every factor, I got I have to share a lot of details, but the time is not enough. So I would like to go for a few factors which I would like to highlight with regard to remedial coaching. See, every institution should try, should take different modes of initiatives when it progresses, whether it is NAC accreditation process. Normally, we have to come with several initiatives so that we are able to support the students in order to facilitate, in order to assist them in excelling in academics, and whatever effort can be taken, it could be done by the institution. So here in Sastra, I can tell you example. Previously, we had some a program like Anupul Sikshan, where the slow learners were partnered with the fast learner, and they formed a study circle after class hours. And through this partnering, they were able to provide some kind of training to the students who are slow learners. Then we took up another initiative. We took the initiative to open in the sense to start the summer school and winter schools. So in this summer and winter school, we tried to support the students who required additional attention in order to complete their curricular requirements through such classes. And very recently, another initiative we have taken. The thing is, now we have categorized, after the examination results come, we have categorized the students and we have put them under 3 baskets. One is red, another one is orange, another one is green. So the students have cleared all the courses, and the case of nil arrears, they are put in the green basket. And the students who are in orange baskets are having minimum number of arrears, and the students who are in red basket, they need to be given more attention. So likewise, we categorically, this is not to discourage students. This is an initiative which is taken by the management so that we are able to support students who require attention. So what I am trying to establish here is, so these are the models which were practiced. Now we are practicing a different mode. So time by time, according to the changing circumstances, we are taking new initiatives so that we are able to render our support and we are able to assess the students. So only one example I have given here. So likewise, when you take mentoring, here we have a system in Sastra by which so every faculty member, they will be given 30 students. So they will be responsible for 30 students, and for these 30 students, these faculty members, they act as a mentor and they advise them on various aspects of curricular and co-curricular activities. And it is done, this assistance is done by looking into their performance. They also, we faculty members, we also motivate the students in pursuit of excellence, and we guide the students for the we conduct career counseling. That is the next thing, 5.1.3. Students benefited by guidance for competitive examinations and career counseling offered by the institution during the year. So here in Sastra, we have an exclusive dedicated training and placement cell. And this department, it is available to train the students in soft skills, and they even contribute, the head of the training and placement department as well as the trained faculty, they are able to contribute the personality development of the students. In that way, we are able to support the student. There is also an entrepreneurship development cell. This cell is made available in Sastra in order to nurture the students to become entrepreneurs. So this cell, it organizes several motivational lectures, and by that they try to make the students entrepreneurs. So why I am telling all these details here is, you should understand that the institution, it is not filling one paper, the tabulation, which is a mandatory format given by NAAC. So we must understand that several initiatives should be taken by the institution, and once the institution takes a policy decision and they try to implement such policy decisions in the institution, the faculty members, they should cooperate with the institution and they should extend the fullest support in the execution of the decisions taken by the management. And these basic ideas, we should have it in our mind. We should support our institution. And if we are able to bring out any new idea, if we are able to bring out new initiative, that could also be added by the institution. And all these factors, all these details will help the institution, whether it is Sastra or whether it is your institution. All these learning, it will make people to understand what is required for the assistance of the students, and by this understanding they will be able to gain their points under the NAAC accreditation process. And finally, 5.1.4, institutional mechanism for transparency, timely redressal of student grievances, prevention of sexual harassment and ragging cases during the year. So here I would like to proudly or not tell, of course, I would like to share that I always take pride in telling that I belong to Sastra. So here, because it is all about, you can see the prevention of sexual harassment. So here, Sastra's ultimate motto is, it believes in women empowerment. So being a lady faculty, I should acknowledge the kind of recognition and I should have that sense of gratitude when the working women faculties like us, we are recognized based on our performance and we are given our space to compete with all our counterparts. And one fine example would be here. I am right in front of you, and you might have attended the sessions. All were scholarly senior colleagues, and they have provided me one fine opportunity to present my presentation among all such beautiful presentation. And here I would like to state what is really happening in Shastra. So I can even proudly tell that that there is no case of ragging in our campus. See, it's been 9 years I have been serving in this institution. Right from I think 2012 January I am here. And ragging, it is somewhat an unknown term in Shastra. So why it has been why I am stating that it is unknown is because I would like to state here that our Honorable Vice Chancellor, every single student, the parents of the students, the faculty members, registrar dean, whoever it may be, we can have access to Vice Chancellor's office, and if there is any grievance, so we can we can let out our grievance there, and the grievance redressal will be done as and when needed, as per the requirement. So this is our system is very transparent. So always we find it very difficult when it comes to 5.1.4, because when it comes to tabulation, you will understand. They are asking for certain details. So what kind of inquiries you have conducted, submit this, that. So in such circumstances, we find the difficulty. Now coming to the next slide. Student progression. So details of campus placement during the year. See, the one person who can deliver a beautiful presentation with regard to this term, campus placement, is always one and only Dr. Badrinath sir. He is the person who can give more details, and I think you have a session on this campus placement details. So I don't want to touch upon his area. So I'm moving on to 5.2.2. It's about student progression to higher education in percentage during the year. So this also, see, this is about the students who are graduated from our university, from our institution, and who step up, who move on to the next level. So their details we need to submit it to NAC. So when it comes to tabulation, I'll explain you in detail. Then 5.
Sorry for the interruption.
Yes,
Sorry
sir.
for the interruption, Dr. Sangeeta.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to deal with placement and how to get placements, how we are doing, what colleges can do. I'm going to talk in the last
Sir, I
session.
didn't touch it, sir.
Yeah. And just information for the audience and to you. I'm going to deal in detail about the placements and nuances also. You can go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Now, 5.2.3, it's about students qualifying in state, national, international level examinations. So we all very well know that it's a highly, in this globalized era, we are living in a competitive world. So it's all there in every discipline. So the students, they have to strive hard and they have to go for several competitive examinations while they are undergoing while they do their UG or PG, whatever it may be. They have to sit for many such competitive examinations, and it's their dream to get into some government jobs or otherwise highly reputed positions they would like to take. So all such dreams of the students would come true only if the institutions like us, if we are able to create such avenues for the students. So here we have SAGE. So I think this also Dr. Badri sir, he will be covering in his talk. So, but still, only one, I would like to mention only one point regarding SAGE. So it is SAGE means Shastra Academy for Growth and Excellence. So it is a study circle, and it is formed by the Training and Placement Department. So the main aim of SAGE is to bring in the students together who would like to appear for UPSC, TNPSC, like the exams which has been mentioned in the slide. And these focused groups, they meet regularly to share the knowledge and resources, and they share the information. And even we faculty members, to some extent, we try to support the students. And after the class hours, we faculty members, we try to give our inputs with regard to technical subjects or whatever is there within the subject part. So we try to impart them, and through this, they are able to achieve success in such competitive examinations. So all such details are required for NAC. In 5.2.4, it's about sports and cultural activities and competitions organized at the institution level during the year. See, when it comes to students, we must always understand that it is not always about academics. So they must have their own space. So always we cannot say that, see, study, you should sit for such exams, you do this, you do that. Always we cannot impose things on the head of the student. Then he or she will get frustrated. So they must have some kind of relaxation. They must have some space to bring out their other talents apart from academics. So if they are interested in sports, if they are interested in cultural activities, the institution are also responsible to bring out such hidden talents of the students. So we play our role there. So as institutional heads, the management, and as the faculty who are supporting the policy decisions of the management, we should try to understand this mindset of the student. And to the extent possible, the institution should conduct certain sports and cultural activities in which there is active participation from the side of the students. And these activities, these achievements even have a place in the NAC accreditation process. That should be our understanding. Now the next slide. It's about 5.3, student participation and activities. Again, it's about a number of awards or medals for outstanding performance in sports, cultural activities at national, international level, award for a team event. Okay, fine. So I have given the tabulation. It's only simple tabulation. So regarding how to collect the documents, data, so that I will come to when it comes to tabulation session. So I hope you have got it. The students who have excelled in their performance with regard to extracurricular activities like sports, culturals, all such achievements, it should be documented by the institution. So what is our role is, we should encourage students to come forward. We should try to expose or make them explore their hidden talents, and we should encourage them. And if we encourage them, if we motivate them, they will be achieving heights. And these heights, it can even be utilized by the institution for the NAC accreditation process. And this fetches us some more points in the NAC accreditation process. And this 5.3.2, it is about qualitative things. So with the maximum of 500 words, we should try to explain what are the kinds of student council activities in any institution, and how the students are able to participate in decision-making process with regard to designing of curriculum and the kind of administrative works done by the institutional experts. Do we allow the students to participate, to be a part of such decision-making process? All these details, every institution should have it as a qualitative report, and they should not exceed a maximum limit of 500 words. So this is about 5.3. Next slide. So that's it. With this 5.4, I am coming to the end of, not of course the session. We are yet to complete the tabulation part. So 5.4.1, it's about whether the institution has registered alumni association. Yes or no? If yes, give details. Then 5.4.2, it is about number of registered alumni. 5.4.3, it's about alumni contribution during the year. Then the next one is meetings, activities organized by alumni association. So as you all know, so I have even shown the tabulation, that is the weightages given for the key indicator alumni engagement. It carries some 10 points. Okay, so that's what at the start of the session I have told you that if we build a good relationship with the students, when it is always possible for us to get connected with our students, whether they are in the campus or whether they are outside the campus. See, we should all understand that our alumni, whether it is Sastrites or your institution, when they go out, when we teach them some good ethics, when we make them when we support them to excel in their academics, when we assist them in achieving their heights, then these students, when they go out, they become the global ambassadors for us. So again, I repeat, they become the global ambassadors for us, for Sastra or any institution. Okay. So see, what is the very purpose of having this NAC accreditation process? So you would like to, now it has been made mandatory by the government. Before 2022, every institution should undergo the accreditation process, and we must get accredited. It is there. I never deny that. But even then, technically speaking, what is the purpose of going for a NAC? So when we are graded and we come under the category 1 institution, or when category 1 in the sense, we now have a brand name. Okay, so this is Sastra, it is category 1 institution. So what does it serve? What purpose does it serve? It attracts the attention of the parents, so attention of the younger generation. So they are of the assumption that yes, Sastra is a category 1 institution. If we study in Sastra, so our degree will be recognized by the world-class universities, and we will be having a high profile when it comes to employment, when it comes to career opportunities. So this will be the mindset of the students. So this grading helps us to attract more and more people towards our institution. Okay, I will tell you one more thing. So this is the technical part. Okay, when it comes to students, what we need to understand is, that's why I took the 3 terms: appreciate, respect, gratitude, and the triangular relationship between the institution, students, and faculty members. If we are able to build a beautiful relationship among all these factors, and if it is interconnected in such a way that the students as well as the faculty members, if they have a sense of gratitude, then you can take it from me, the students, they are the ambassadors for our institution. They will go and tell the outside world that, see, in my university, they respect, they value my contribution. So they have given such assistance to me. They have supported me in my crucial times. So all these emotional touches, it will attract more and more people towards the institution. So that's why I said we must build a beautiful bond, and this relationship can lead to the ultimate purpose of making our institution it will be take our institution to heights. So that's all about the key indicators. Just as I said, I'm not too much into the technical rigidities. I wanted to make you understand what are the basics behind all these key indicators. So what we should be mentally prepared for before we think about accreditation process, or before we start preparing for improvisation plans for re-accreditation, whatever it may be. So we must understand that all these details, it should be in the mind while policy decisions taken by the management. When it comes to faculty and the administrative staff, they should understand these basic requisites, and they should try to support the institution by executing all such policy decisions. And the students, they should understand that they are under this roof, and if they have a sense of gratitude, they will also be supporting us in this accreditation process. So that is my humble opinion. Now coming to ma'am, next slide, tabulation. So here the tabulation, I don't know how far it is clearly visible. So this is the tabulation for criterion 5. So since I have explained you all the details, now the technical part. So 5.1.1, sir, can I take some 10 more minutes, sir, so that I can explain what is required? Ma'am?
Make it fast, as fast as possible, no problem.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, fine. So when it comes to tabulation part, 5.1.1, see, here comes the task for the faculty members. See, this is, of course, this 5.1.1, this record, it could be maintained only by the administrative wing, so of any institution. So the scholarship schemes and the kind of financial support that has been rendered to the students, all these details, certain details are very much confidential also. So we as a faculty member, we won't have the access to such documents, and this is the responsibility of the administrative wing. And what we should do is, from our side, we should tell the administrative staff, in this pattern, please maintain the records, and we need to take the details from them whenever it is required. That is when we go for NAAC accreditation. So this is completely under the administrative wing. Ma'am?
Yes.
Now coming to 5.1.2. So this is about capability enhancement. See, I told you. So whatever initiative we have taken, we are taking in our institutions. So the thing is, the simple thing I will tell you. In every school, in every department, we will be organizing several programs. Okay. So what we have to do is, whenever we conduct a program, we should maintain a record of it. Okay, documentation is a must regarding NAAC accreditation process. So here, what is the name of the program? When the program was conducted in our institution, how many students got enrolled, and whether we employed any external agency to come and handle the sessions. All these details, the faculty coordinator, whoever is organizing or coordinating such activities in every respective school, they must maintain a separate file. See, don't think about files only when we have to go for NAAC accreditation. That is a wrong notion. So we should try to avoid it. So that is the first part of this NAAC understanding. So whenever we do something, we have to document it. So at times of accreditation process, when we look for documents, then we cannot create documents. So that will be too difficult for us. So time by time, whenever we organize programs, kindly maintain a record of it. This will help a lot when it comes to criterion 5. Now coming to 5.1.3, this is about students' benefit. So here, see, we faced several difficulties. The problem with the students is, so they will be attending competitive examinations. Okay, so they will attend competitive exams. They will appear. See, if they clear it with good marks or whatever is required, if they do it, then they will come and share it with us. If they are unable to do it, or if they are not, if it is not to their expectation, then they will never disclose the details. Here comes the difficulty. So here, this is of course about conducting the programs, career counseling programs, programs for competitive examination. As I said, we have SAGE, and the training and placement department people, they always render us good support when the team calls for it, when it comes to campus placement, when it comes to such programs which has been conducted by the training and placement department. One phone call is enough to Dr. Badri sir. Sir, we want the details. It should be in this format. If we are able to send a blank format to training and placement department, then they will be kind enough to send us all the possible details in whatever format we require. They will be sending it. Okay. So my advice here, it would be, so like us, you people in your institution, so if there is a separate training and placement department, good enough. If you don't have a separate department or exclusive department for that, then whoever is coordinating such activities in your institution, again I repeat, you please document it. You please maintain the documents, prepare a file, maintain it in proper order. This will help you a lot. This will make it easy for us when we go for the accreditation process, rather than starting it from the scratch. Okay. Then coming to 5.1.4, it's about institutional mechanism for, as I said, so the difficulty with Sastra is we have we have a transparent system. As I said, we don't have such reported cases. But one thing I would like to highlight here, okay, see, we cannot cheat upon the authorities, that too more particularly NAAC authorities. So if you are providing the details there, it must be pakka. Pakka in the sense, it must be genuine record. Whatever we document, the documentation work, it must be a genuine record of whatever we have done within our institution. If you are trying to put false reports over there, see for example, just like a joke, you can take it. Assuming that, I'm not pointing out at any institution, assuming that in an institution, some kind of ragging or something took place and a student committed suicide or something has taken place within the premises, and that has been well covered by the social, you know very well, of course, about the social media nowadays. Okay, so even a simple or single incident will not be left by the social media people, and they'll be covering to fullest extent possible. So assuming that your institution, you are in the sense, not of course about us. Okay, just for example, I'm telling, it was in papers, it was in social media, but what you try to state there is no ragging in our campus, no grievances. So if you are going to highlight it like that, then you are cheating upon the NAC authorities. So that is not permitted. Okay, so I hope you got it. So whatever is happening in our institution, we should try to submit it. Of course, these are confidential reports. Even if we have it, we should have the genuineness must be there. That is my bottom line. Now coming to 5.2, it's about details of, I am not going to touch upon this area. I will leave it to Dr. Badri sir. He is the expert on that. Now coming to 5.2.2, student progression to higher education. So here, when it comes to this tabulation, so it's only about it's not about the past 5-year record. Okay, it's about the previous graduating batch. For example, if we are now in 2019 to 2020, now of course we are in 2020 to 21. So the previous graduating batch, their details, whether they got admitted into higher education. So those details we have to tabulate it. Okay, now here the very big problem is, that's what I said, if we are able to maintain a good relationship by making a simple phone call, okay, we have to be connected always. Either now the technology has developed so much, by sending a WhatsApp message, if the student is kind enough, he will be sending a scanned copy of whatever we call for. Okay, but if he has some kind of vengeance, or otherwise if he completely he doesn't like you people, then he won't be, at any cost, he won't be giving the details. So we won't be getting more points on this. So that's why I always insist, take it as a bottom line. We should have a good relationship with our students, so that when they are in the campus or outside the campus, they are able to support us with regard to criterion 5. Now coming to 5.2.3, again, ma'am, next slide, ma'am. 5.2.3. So here, see here, last time we had a different difficulty. In my personal experience, one student, she was a very brilliant student, and she will be now she is studying in some in Kerala state. She is studying. She is doing her LLM. So even in her case, when I asked for, she has attended that CLAT exam. Last time when we were collecting the documents, I asked her, please send a scanned copy of the CLAT score. She denied. She has never done that to me. Okay, so I was surprised. So I was asking, why you are not giving? She said, ma'am, the marks are very poor. Though I got admission, I don't want to give my CLAT score. So this is another kind of difficulty. Okay, the students, though they are having a good relationship with us, they never permit us to get their personal particulars like the score sheet and all. If we want it from them, then only if they are willing to support us, they will be providing. Otherwise, even if we know, we cannot go and forcefully get the document. I know her place, but for that reason, I cannot go and snatch the document from her. It is not possible. So these difficulties will be there when you go for data collection. And 5.2.4, it's about sports and cultural activities. See, again, so here, regarding 5.2.4, the main problem is faculty coordinators in Sastra, the students, they will be organizing the events, whether it is a national level event or whatever it is, regarding the cultural Kuruk Shastra. These are all some flagship events of our university. And these events will be completely under the control of the students. Of course, we faculty will be there, we'll be supporting them, but all these details, it will be in the hands of the students. So what we should do is, whenever such programs are organized, if the students are they are having the complete control of the event or programs, whatever it is, we should try to get the documents then and there itself. Otherwise, it is not. We know very well that how poor our students. This not about Sastra students or anyone. I am talking about the mindset of the younger generation. So they do not document everything. They are not vigilant or careful regarding certain things, and they will be quite lethargic. It is the mindset of the students. We cannot correct it in every individual case. So to the extent possible, what we have to do is, whatever sports activities happens in our campus, whatever cultural activities happens in our campus, we must try to collect the documents then and there from the students. We must have a copy of the documents, so that when it comes to NAAC accreditation process after 5 years, we need to submit the documents. We are not facing any difficulty over there. Then 5.3, again, it's about, as I said, if they are winning awards, they will come and share the happy news with us. But if you try to get the copy of the certificate, then there comes the problem. Ma'am, I have kept it at my home. When I go back to home, I will come and give you. Or ma'am, I have missed it somewhere. So all these kinds of excuses will be there. We cannot blame them. Okay, so it's their nature. So again, my sincere advice is, we faculty members, we should have a good rapport with the students. And as I said, whenever such events happen in front of our eyes, we should document everything. We should, we must go behind them, and we must try to collect all the documents from their hands. And lastly, coming to alumni engagement. So this is about alumni associations. So again, as I said, in Sastra, we have strong alumni network throughout the globe. We got alumni chapters. It is established in India as well. I think it is in Singapore, and to my knowledge, 2 chapters are there in the US also. One at Chicago and the other at Philadelphia. And these alumni chapters, they meet frequently, and every year they used to have alumni reunion function. And again, it's the responsibility of the training and placement department and Dr. Badri sir and his team members. They have the entire database. They maintain the database of the alumni, and they are enabling such continued interactions with those people. So it is all through the efforts of TNP team. And again, in Sastra, we have a Facebook application, Sastra Alumni Connect we have, and this also strengthens the alumni network. So why I am giving the details about Sastra is, see, this criterion, this sub-criterion, it fetches us some good points in the NAAC accreditation process. So try to associate or try to maintain the contacts with the alumni. Okay, not only the students when they are in the campus, we should take care of, we should be supportive, we should be assisting them. There is nothing wrong. We are all humans, and it is always good to have a human relationship with all our counterparts, with the students. And then only we can maintain a good relationship. And take it from me, this helps a lot when it comes to this such a data collection process. And it would be much easier if we are able to maintain a strong relationship. So I think that's it from me. Thank you. Ma'am, SOP and all I have covered, ma'am. Everything I have covered under the tabulation part. Whatever is required while talking itself, I have covered.
Yes, sir. Thank you, madam. And floor is open for question and answers. Audience, now you can throw your questions. If you have any questions, kindly please ask.